Yo, bartender.
Bar's closed.
Hey, yo, bartender, what's good, man? Let me get a drink, man. Let me get a shot.
Hey, man, I know you just put up to the bar, but we closed.
Come on, man. You gotta be able to give me a shot, man. Come on.
You look like you need a drink, man, but I hate to tell you this, man. We about to close.
So you mean to tell me all these people out here, they got drinks and they got shots, but I can't get nothing. The bar closed that soon?
Okay, man, I don't know what else to say. I got this shorty half my age at the crib, and I'm trying to get to her. But last call was 10 minutes ago.
You know what? It's alright. Don't even worry about it. Don't worry about it.
All right. Tell you what, I'm gonna get you one drink, cause it look like you need
one drink. I can do one drink. I can do one drink, cause I really yeah.
Hey, man, anything, man. Look like you got a lot on your mind and you need a friend right now. Pour it on me. Ain't no last calls here.
Bar Talk with Jay.
Welcome to Bar Talk with Jay.
Welcome.
One of the things I want to brought to you by is Southern Boy Apparel. Yes, I'm wearing my boy Big T's outfit for the day. We cowboy in his style. He got his own little clothing thing he got coming together, and one of the things we love to do is support.
Yes.
So again, I'll be able to tag a link. You'll be able to see other stuff that he might have. And again, if y'all can share, love, spread it, I appreciate it.
Yes.
Now, secondly, I got to say brought to you by Minecraft. We got some upcoming events. I'm going to let Craft speak a little bit on that one. Because again, I can't hog this one. This was more my boy, but we support each other like no other. This event is coming up real soon. So Craft, tell them a little bit about the event coming over there in Big Dog.
Well, this is our world premiere presentation of active mindfulness. And Minecraft is a company that focuses on helping people understand their thoughts, to improve their self-love, to get fired up about life, to understand themselves, and all of that comes under the Minecraft umbrella. And so I created a course that basically helps people just get refocused on life. If you're going through a setback or a hardship or something that is a little painful in life, a little difficult to get through, active mindfulness would be the course that you'd want to take. Okay. Because we're going to help you understand your thoughts and your beliefs, and we're going to get you laser focused. More than teach you, it's going to help you apply the principles of consciousness to your own life.
Right.
So it's almost like having a workshop on yourself. Right? Being able to really work on yourself. If you did this at home, there's disturbances and TV and the phone. But if you come to a classroom environment, you're going to really be able to open your mind up to some new wisdom, especially among like-minded people. So we're kicking it off July 25th. That is a Tuesday night from 6 to 9 p.m. And it's going to be a fabulous occasion for you to come out and just grow. Just grow. You can find us on Eventbrite under Active Mindfulness. And of course, all the information is there. If you got questions, let us know. Love to have you folks. Love to have you.
And one of the things we'll do is we'll try to tag this in the video at the backside so you guys be able to go to Eventbrite. And you can see all this because all the dates is there. So again, support us. So again, we've been doing this for over 6 years. We're going on 7. And one of the things we want to do is break it down from just the talking to the mental health.
Yes,
because
we need that. We need that mental health so bad, Jay. Here's the question, and here's really the essence of Minecraft and why I created Minecraft. If you have a challenge, right? You got hurdles you go through. Maybe it's the past. Maybe it's, self-esteem. Maybe it's self-confidence, and maybe it's the ability to love, or productivity issues and being successful and making money. If you are dealing with something, who do you talk to? In most cases, you go and read a book.
Right.
You talk to a friend, parent, maybe your pastor. Maybe you go to a college.
Right.
Maybe you go to a counselor. Maybe you go to a therapist. But where do you get an opportunity to jumpstart your own mind and life in the direction of your goals? This course is about you. I'm just going to help you put you in the right path so that you can stay laser focused on your life. There's no place for people to get that kind of help, and that's what Minecraft is bringing, and that's certainly what active mindfulness is about, man. We need mental health. Don't wait till you get sick and tired to focus on your mental health, right? And by the way, let me just plant this seed that things like dementia are preventable. It takes 40, 50 years for dementia to develop in the mind.
Right.
And so long before you experience the manifestation, you've been not taking care of your mind. Your mind, it needs vitamins, just like your body, right? What is the vitamins that your mind needs? Ideas. You need to be taking in new information and new ideas constantly in your life. Your mind needs to be moving. If not, it gets caught up like a web, right? It just gets stuck. It gets mundane. Everything gets the same old. And you start manifesting the same old in your life. When you want to break that cycle, that's what active mindfulness is about. So it's time for a new way for people to develop themselves, Jake. And it's time for us to give people the real tools it takes to develop themselves. We've been dependent on the doctors and the coaches and the pastors, and all of these people are failing us for years and years.
Right.
Not to say that they are doing good work, but they've been failing us in equipping us to deal with real life. Now, if you go to your house tonight and you are super frustrated, you just anxiety and frustration just fills your spirit. What do? There is something that you can do, and active mindfulness will show you how to come out of those moments and come out of those feelings and come out of those thoughts and emotions, come out of those old beliefs just like that, right? You can learn to heal yourself because the mind simply needs to be programmed with right ideas. And that's what the multivitamin theory is about. It's about planting good ideas in the mind, and whatever you pay attention to is what you will draw into your life. That's a principle. Right? Thoughts create reality. Whatever you focus on. So if you want to be, the best chef, you should be reading recipes every day.
Right.
You should be learning about knives and cookware. You should, every single day of your life, you should be studying it. That's all you look at on the internet. But if you're not into those, if you're not focused on the ideas that are going to take you to your greatest possibility, then obviously you're focused on ideas that keep you from your greatest possibility. We have to learn how to change our own mind, and no one can do that for us. And if you're sitting in your living room for 3 hours worried about this, that, and the other, thinking about how sick you are and how big the problem is, all you're doing is manifesting more of that for your own life.
Yes.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, and we have the ability to change. That's the key to this whole process. We have the ability to change our mind.
Correct.
You don't have to change your life and your belief systems and your attitudes all at one time. One thought at a time. I don't like this feeling that I have right now. I want something to happen. I want to be relieved in my spirit. I want to feel better right now. I want to feel like they're coming against me. I want to feel like I'm the boss. I want to feel like I'm in control. Right? None of it's true, but I just changed my own mind in a matter of seconds.
I like it.
In a matter of seconds, I took what they think and I took it off on my shoulders and put on my shoulders what I think.
There you go.
We need more of that, right?
Control.
Self-control, self-mastery. That's what we're ultimately looking at. And I'm going to tell you, when black folk get a hold of this message right here, as much as we have taken off with no help and no support, a little bit of support is going to create significant changes in people's lives and significant changes in people's health. And I have to just say this before we get started, just quickly, that if you're sitting around a sick person, let's say your mother or your son or your relative, they're sick, right? You need to be prophesying over them. You're going to get better. You're going to get healed. You're going to get fixed. So an answer is going to come. The right medication. Your body's going to feel good. I pronounce energy over your body. I pronounce love over your body. I pronounce activity over your body. You got to speak these words because the word will manifest. But we haven't trusted the word because we haven't been allowed to see the whole process. We have to learn to speak life. And when we speak life, I promise you that word will not return unto you void. That is the way our universe works. And the sooner you get a hold of the realities of life, that you can live life scientifically. I can meditate on these ideas, and if I drift in that direction, it must be for me. But if I meditate on these ideas and it doesn't seem like it's working, then I'll change my mind and meditate on some different ideas. You have to live your life scientifically. Anybody who has a career lives their life scientifically. Right? This is what's popping in this area of I need to be focused on this now because this is what's popping. And this is what's popping this month and next month and next year, right? You got to keep your mind focused on the prize, man. I don't want to go too far in the game. But
I mean, we went far into it. Please believe.
I'm sorry. Just a few minutes.
They got to understand what they're coming to.
They got to understand. They got to understand. You need some help in your life.
They got to hear that.
Yeah. It's almost like I'm giving them a magic. a magic pill. You know what I'm saying?
I think you jump started them, but you have a better understanding of what they're walking into. That's what I feel.
Okay. I love that. Let's go ahead and finally introduce ourselves.
Hey, man, I think you already been introduced yourself. Where you going?
This is Bar Talk with Jay. This is Bar Talk with Jay. Excuse me.
Yeah, I remember.
Get me choked up.
Hey, it's okay, man.
This is Bar Talk with Jay. My name is Craftmatic. This is my boy Smooth Jay. And we are here to liberate your minds and souls with a fantastic dialogue. We just want to chop it up, for about the next 30, 40 minutes. And some gravy always comes out of our discussions. And we want you to hear it. We want you to align with it. We want you to make decisions for yourself about what you're hearing coming out of this screen right now.
Yes.
And, this is just Jay and I's opportunity to be leaders here in the community. We said we wanted to get real with people and talk about the real stuff. That's what Bar Talk is about. Bar Talk is about, after by the time you have a few sips out of your first drink, you open up.
Come on.
Right? And you start talking about your problems. Well, that's what we do here. We talk about the real, and we hope it's edifying to your spirit. We always start the show off with a prayer.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going to go ahead and focus our prayer on the topic for tonight.
Okay.
The topic is, sometimes we love people that we don't fit with.
Ooh. I think I'm getting choked up.
Me too. Okay. Sometimes we love people that we don't fit with.
Ooh.
Heavenly Father, we just come into your presence now, just thanking you for all that you are in our life, your power and your passion, your love and your grace, and all that you give to us. We ask, Heavenly Father, tonight for your wisdom and for your understanding and intelligence and for right direction and right attitude about people. We know, Lord, that there are some people who don't seem to fit in our world.
Yes.
They don't seem to do us right. They don't seem to understand us. They don't seem to give. All they want to do is take. Yes. Lord, what do we do with these people? Give us some perfect revelation about how to handle and deal with and love the people who are in our world. We ask that you would be here in this show, speak through us. We ask all these blessings in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Woo! Hey, I need that. Especially with that topic. Lord,
we all, Well, let's just go ahead and deal with this subject, Jay. How would you start the subject, man? Sometimes we love people that we don't fit with.
I like to say sometimes we have our own ideas on what they should be, and you're not allowing them to be themselves. So again, you go into it pushing on your wants and what you want them to be,
right?
Fulfilling some things that was already messed up in your life. So you want it to be a lot better. So you see all this stuff in this person, and then of course you're pushing more of it, and then the realization comes in when they don't fit. It's not a fit for them. It's not what they want. But some people act like it because they want to be with you until they get you. Now these where the problem's going to come from. One, I started it, and then they finished it, and then it didn't end up very well. So I dated some of that terms, and then other ones I had my own problem. You know, one thing I realized, marriage was always about giving up the picture that you had and start wiping the slate and building one.
But you know, a lot of people married don't know that.
Well, that's why I'm divorced now. Because I tried to keep that picture that I forgot didn't include that person at that time. But I wanted them to fit in. And then when they didn't really fit because they had their own, that's when we didn't really look at each other. We fought from the beginning, from a selfishness. So again, it's all about you understanding the person you with, let alone yourself. And some of mine was inflicted because of the fact I didn't get me down first. I was too busy pushing my picture of what it should have been compared to giving it opportunity for us to build a picture together. I automatically assumed my picture was the best picture, and all she had to do was fit. So she didn't have to bring nothing, just fit into a puzzle that she didn't see. I had in my head.
And watch this, and we're all kind of, self-victims of this, that we want that person to fit in this little bitty pocket of our life. Now, don't start telling me how to do this, and don't start telling me how to do that. Would you just fit right? I just want a pretty woman who can cook. That's all I want. That's all I need. I need a pretty woman who can cook. Don't try to talk too much. Don't try to show out. You know what I'm saying? And that's what a lot of boss women say. Listen, I don't need a man for none of it. I just need you to come in, just take out the garbage and keep the yard done. And don't try to tell me how to pay my bills, how to spend my money. You know what I'm saying? And because we know that women in many cases are making more money than men nowadays. Mm-hmm. And so under those circumstances, they only want a slice of the pie filled. But you can't just fill the slice of the pie in any relationship, right? Because the people, the people are going to come with more than you want them to come with. Yes. Maybe more than you expect them to have, right?
Or want them to have.
Or want them to have, you know? And there's so many examples. One of the first things that's coming off the top of my head is somebody who knows how to interview real well for a job, for example. Right? Mm-hmm. And they interview for the job, you know, they kind of lay low. You know what I mean? They really could take your job, but they lay low. Right? Okay. And so now they come in and they start doing a fabulous job. Mm-hmm. Right? Now, you know that you want a good employee in that position, right? Correct. But you might not want somebody who could take your job necessarily. Right? You might not want somebody who starts showing off at the meetings and showing you up, you know what I'm saying? And taking all the great ideas over your head because they don't become friends with your boss, right? Oh, yeah. They don't fit in this equation, right? Yes. We wanted them to just fill a slice of the pie, but they were too big for that slice of the pie. And they almost took over, and sometimes they do take over, right? We took over. Right? I remember several times taking over in companies and sales forces. I come right in, and next thing you know, I'm in the top 15% of every sales. In fact, I've been in the top 15% of every sales force I've ever been in for 30 years. You know what I'm saying? So I know about fitting in and not fitting in, right? Because what you have to do, you know that you're smarter than that guy, but you can never really let them know, right? And they might see it come out. In fact, you might never let them know because you're subduing oneself just to make them feel comfortable, right? Mm-hmm. Or you're subduing oneself so they don't put you in charge, right? We do that as well, right? That, hey, you know, if I let them know how much I know, they're going to make me run it. They're going to make me be the leader. They're going to make me be accountable. So I just do my job, right? Yeah. We're talking about fitting in here tonight, right?
I'm going to have some fun with this one.
We love people that they don't fit in.
Believe me, I have to go to the work one because you threw that one out there first.
Go ahead.
I had one come in the two ways you was talking. I had one interview, and he interviewed good, and it was a slacker.
Okay.
Came in there, listened to him, had good knowledge, good skills. Then it was time to do the job. Lackadaisy, wasn't on time. Total disappointment.
Yeah.
He was just good on the interview. Wasn't good for nothing else.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna tell you about that.
And I had to work him back up because I knew he had it in him because of the interview.
Right.
His resume looked good.
Yeah.
But now I'm starting to see why other people let him go. Because there's a lot of stuff that was lacking on that resume. I was lacking when I got him.
Right.
So I failed that one. Now the other one was very interesting because it was low key, but he had a lot of education behind him.
Okay.
Normally, some people say he was overqualified, which I don't really believe it.
Okay.
I really feel like sometimes you got to start in different positions.
Okay.
But I did notice, like, he had things he always wanted to add to the safety meetings and everything else. So I said, okay, I see he did this before.
Yeah.
So instead of letting that challenge go, I went on ahead and said, you know, I got some manager courses that I want you to start taking. He was like, well, what made you think? Because if you're going to keep interrupting my courses, you're going to need to be more in tune to where I need you to be. And he started taking them and ended up being a manager at another site with me. And again, we became closer, but it was a head notch at first because, again, he wanted to prove that he was bigger and better than me. And I already seen that he had some skills. The only problem he had, he just wasn't in the field long enough. He didn't have the support behind him. I've been there long enough to get the support. But I said, you know something, instead of us clashing, let's see what he can do. He did great at another site because, again, he had to build it back up just like I had to build it up. So it wasn't a fight that I normally would have to go through, but I seen it ahead of time.
Yes.
So, again, you got to start applying what you were saying. Yeah. Not being scared of who's going to take your job, really just applying to get people in the right position.
Yeah. And, you know, when you're managing people, right fit is a very important thing,
Yeah.
right? Now, what happened with Jay, it just from the outside looking in, this guy came in, did a great interview, but actually he was a little lazy, had some apathy, right?
Yeah.
That what he had was people skills.
Yes.
Right? I know that you're a people person, and anybody who's a people person that get in front of you, they're going to gain favor. Right? And so, in those scenarios, you say, man, I mishired. Maybe I might need to look at technical fits even deeper. When people have a good personality, I'm already going to fall in love with them. But let me look deeper at their credentials, because they can win me over with that smile. They can win me over with that story they told. They can win me over because they understand me and we can laugh and smile. And, there's no conflict in the room,
Right.
all of those types of things. Let's turn this discussion dramatically.
Let's go for it.
I wonder how many 20-year marriages where one partner or the other is saying, if I would have married somebody else, my life would be much better right now. Like you, and what I'm getting at is, these people come together and they love each other and they're in a marriage, they're in a relationship, but somewhere in the back of their mind, they're saying, this person really doesn't fit me anymore. And in fact, 3 years into the relationship, they stopped wanting to go out. I should have got rid of their ass then, but I've been staying at the house all these years. I just want to go hang out. I don't want to do nothing but just be among the people and listen to some music and have a few drinks. And he never wants to go out anymore. And so he does not fit. How many people are stuck? Maybe that's not the right word, but are committed to a relationship where their significant other no longer fits. That probably happens a lot, Jay. It happens a lot.
It happens
because people grow apart. We in the thousands of years that mankind has been around, walking the face of this earth, we still have not figured out how to maintain a long-term healthy relationship unless it's about subserviency. She do what I tell her to do, or he do what I tell him to do. Okay, one of those old statements, yep, yes dear, yes honey, is that the only way to get through a lifetime relationship? Is that the only way? I'm an A-type personality, man. I need somebody to push back with me. I don't need no soft, weak people in my life. You know what I'm saying? They might cuss me out and maybe even slap me. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm an intense person. I need intensity in my life. And if I'm doing something wrong, like, hey, Stacey, you screw it up. You screw it up. And this is how I feel about it. This is how I want. I like to hear your opinions. If I don't hear your opinions, I don't know how you feel. If I don't say my opinion, you don't know how I feel. So where's the place where we can all fit in and get along, because it's not happening in relationships. We see it not happening in long-term relationships, that that you can be in love but not like the person. You can not necessarily even be in love. You love them, right? Because the spark of in love has already kind of faded. Right. So now you love them like a relative, you love them like family, but you really can't stand them. Right. And in fact, when you want to go out to, that nice party with your girlfriend, you make sure that he working that evening, because, what I'm saying, he ain't going to dress right, he ain't going to act right, he ain't going to be on time, or vice versa, quite the opposite. Right. Women can have those things as well. But when you think about long-term relationships and not fitting in, what do you do with somebody who you don't fit in with, Jeff?
Well, I'm going to tell you, after my divorce, and I was one of them people that said, she didn't fit. But really, we grew apart, and some of that was my own ambitions and my own ego. Okay? So when you put that in line, you're looking at her to blame. When some of that had to be for me to get back and realize she still rolled with me. You know what I'm saying? Loyalty, respect was still there. And then it started getting to a point where it wasn't. But a lot of that transformed for the fact that I pushed away. And I feel like, why I got to just keep putting up with this? And one of the reasons why is I let somebody get in that little space. I might not have liked her at that time, but I still loved her.
Right.
Okay? Right. But another person fit in that space that gave me that comfort that made me continue putting up with it. But again, they just filled that space. It was just a small enough of a space that it didn't change the dynamic of me and her. I just didn't have to deal with her. And I thought that was the best way. It wasn't. So what
to
it
not
did,
deal with her.
right? It was like it cut off some of the communication. You already know you cut off communication. It caused most relationships to die.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
some of that started getting less and less.
Yeah.
She didn't get more of it. She just filled the space. That's all that was. But my whole thing is if I wouldn't have let that person fill that space, I probably went back to her and we would have probably tried to fill it together. I just got to a point. I just let this little piece get me through, and then it kind of sabotaged it. It derailed me long term because the lack of communication caused more of the argument. And I couldn't bring it back over here to the person that had this little space. I had to deal with this argument with a person that I had that commitment with.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's caused a lot of my demise.
Right.
So a lot of times you feel like you're fixing something by squeezing. This is not everybody's case. This is me talking about what I went through.
Yeah.
So I don't want everybody saying
No,
it ain't always. It's not. But I let somebody get in this little space, and that space, I didn't see the long-term trickle-down effects that it was going to do with the relationship that I had. So that's what helped cause my demise.
Yeah.
That's just me. What could I do different? I like to say the best thing I did is allow that to happen so I can be a stronger person after I'm able to see what it went through. Somebody telling me I'd have never known. Okay? By me going through it, it made me stronger. Now I'm not tolerating a lot of stuff that I had to put up with the person in that space, let alone things I put myself in, and I still had to tolerate because it came back in a disrespectful way because they felt I disrespected them.
Right.
So it had to make me grow up. Some things is to help you grow. Somebody told me a long time ago, I wish I can go back and take the wisdom I got now to live a better life. And I always say, you know something, you take it back there, you're going to change everything. Because everything you've been through, you stronger at. When you go back, you don't know where you at.
Yeah.
All you know is you'll make better decisions, but you're going to deal with different people.
Absolutely.
You might go through a whole nother kind of mess. Because again, he has a plan for you and you're trying to work your way out of it because you made a mess of it. He stood you through all that mess. All you got to do is just sob it up, understand it, and make better decisions. And next thing you know, you're living your best life compared to your worst life.
There you go. There you go. And I think it's so important right there, Jay, living your best life versus living your worst life. At some point when you realize it's not a good fit, you have to make some decisions. And you might make the decision to stay with them because you love them. And that's perfectly okay.
Yes.
But you might make the decision to leave and not know how to do it. And what happens when you make the decision to leave, but you're still there? That can be a tough position to be in.
Probably 9 times out of 10 you miss it.
And you said it, Jay. You said I got derailed, but I just couldn't come back from it. You know what I'm saying? I should have been able to come back from it, but I just couldn't. And sometimes that happens when we're in a relationship or a partnership with people that no longer fit. Mm-hmm. And especially an event or a situation happens that really you look at them differently at that point. Like, whoa, is that the kind of decision maker you are? Oh, is that how you handle things? Oh, is that how you treat, important things? And at that point, you were like, they're no longer a fit. And so now I have to make some decisions, because if you don't make the decisions, you're going to run into the same thing over again.
Correct.
You're going to run into it over and over and over and over until, watch this, you become different, right?
Or better.
They're not going to change. You're going to have to change in order for that situation to change. And sometimes it means conflict. It's not that you want to be in conflict, but sometimes, before you give up, right? You got derailed, you're trying to come back, you got to speak your mind. And that's a place where you gotta be willing to be vulnerable.
If you answer these questions incorrectly, I'm going to sew it on the card.
And you got to be willing to deal with the conflict that it takes in order to maintain this relationship. The conflict that you are that you're running from in a lot of these cases, that conflict is the thing that you have to get through,
right,
to get to the gravy. And if you're not willing to go through the conflict, it's a trouble. So watch this, Jay.
Go ahead, give it to me.
I just want to, I don't know, this is just a side note. I'm going to try to come back to this conflict thing, because this conflict thing is what's causing people not to be cohesive.
Oh,
right? It's if you're a black man particularly in Atlanta, in Georgia, if you're a man in Georgia and you don't get along with your spouse,
right,
you don't get along with your baby mama, right, the state immediately expects you to come into the system, right? So if you don't have a good relationship and you have to get, child support putting on you, and you have to get, visitation, and you have to get, legitimacy and all that stuff with the courts,
Right.
that the court puts you in their system. And what the court is suggesting is that you're not strong enough to deal with this. You're not strong enough to deal with the conflict that you have to have in order to maintain or grow this relationship. So the state's going to take over the relationship, and this is when you see your kids, and this is how much money you pay, and this is how you're going to be in their life.
Correct.
Right? So we have a lot of men who are missing from their children's lives because they don't know how to face the conflict that may be facing them just to try to be in their children's lives.
Now,
You see what I'm saying?
I'm going to look like a bad guy.
It's not.
I'm going to look like a bad guy. Crap, I got to do it because in one of them cases, because again, I had three different, I don't even say like saying baby mamas, but again, I had three different women I had kids by. And I married one of them. That was Lori. Then it was Shannon, and it was Wanda. Me and Shannon worked things out. And I did what I had to do, and I stayed in communication with them. And again, they were back in Ohio, and I'm down in Georgia. The other one was Wanda. Wanda was very mouthy, very difficult.
Your daughter.
No. The mother.
The mother, okay.
My daughter was a baby.
The mother.
She was an innocent victim
Okay.
of a relationship that was this way south. And it became where she was being disrespectful, just coming over anytime, dropping her off, talking any old kind of way, picking fights with my ex-girlfriend, or girlfriend, ex, whatever. It was just a mess. And it's always a conflict, and their mom even wanted to get in it because she felt like, she had some words to say. And first, I'm a grown man. I don't need nobody speaking for me. And I don't want to tell you about how your daughter is, but don't come to me telling me what you want her to be, and I know what she is. That ain't going to even happen either. So it got to a point, I put myself on child support. I went down there and I filed because I already knew I wasn't going to be in her life like that. But it wasn't worth me not trying to do financially. I just know physically I wasn't, because I wasn't going to jail. Because me and her was going to get real physical, and I had to make a decision. Now, later on when she got grown, and I tried to come back and have this conversation to see if we can mend some things, we at least had the conversation. I ain't going to say a lot of things mended because, again, she sided with her mother. It's fine. But again, it's one of them things, like I say, as a man, you have to figure out and make your own decision. A lot of us men are absent from our children. I'm not telling you I was the right. I'm not saying I was the best. There's going to be some times where I had to make a decision.
Right.
And you won't always be there, but there's going to be times you can't.
Yeah.
Do the best you can by stepping away instead of just abandon.
Right.
I didn't abandon. She could say I did, but I could show you receipts where I did.
Yeah, but they're not counting that money. They're not counting that money.
They don't have to.
Listen,
but respectfully, as a man, knowing I raised all the rest of them, I had to feel good to me, because that's what kept me going. Whatever she said is her. Now, anything she had to say, I promise you, she's going to bring that negativity to any man she was with. Person she was with, God bless him, because I couldn't do it. Wouldn't want to do it. And some things I am not going to forsake myself with. And that's an evil, bitter person.
I want everybody to hear this. Tonight's topic is, sometimes we love people that we don't fit with. Isn't that exactly what Jay's story was about?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
It fit.
And it doesn't. He didn't fit because he didn't want to fit. He didn't fit because they didn't want him to fit. So here's now a father being pushed out of his child's life by his mother, by the mother's attitude. There's a perfect situation of sometimes we love people that we don't fit with. And we're trying to be a family to our child. We're trying to be a friend to our ex. But there was so much nonsense, Jay had to make a decision. And the decision that he made was not exactly how he was going to attack it, but he made a decision of how he was going to manage the chaos, right? How he was going to manage the conflict.
Yes.
Because if you're going to create some healing, then you got to go talk to them. You got to go fuss with them. You got to go get your point across. That's the conflict. And that's the conflict that men in America are not wanting to have. And if I got to go and talk with the mama and get all these opinions and all these bad attitudes and all that, I might as well go on here and put myself in the system and let them go and hold the accountability for me and my child. That's not what I want to do.
Nope.
But, you know, because I don't fit in, I'm trying, but because I can't fit in there, now I got to do something else to manage this conflict. Right. And I think that's happening to so many men, particularly black men in America, that they're not getting along with baby mamas, and they're getting put in the system, and the system is almost controlling their life.
Correct.
Right? The system is keeping tabs on them and all kinds of stuff. You know what I mean? And not to say that it shouldn't, but the system is holding them accountable at a level that they're not really at. You know, and it takes a lot more work to understand that equation. I know some of the numbers behind the curtain. But long story short is, if there's a conflict in front of you, if there's something that you don't fit into, you gotta decide how you're gonna handle that. And sometimes, you know, you may just pray about it. Sometimes it just be like, I'm not dealing with that. I don't have years to re-explain myself over and over and over and over to people who I thought loved me,
Right.
to people who I thought cared about me, but it's obvious they don't care about me. It's obvious they have an agenda other than just pure love. It's obvious they got some hate and some disrespect and some dislike for me, and I've never given them any of that. So guess what? If that's how you want it to be, I'm going to give you what you want. But what I'm not going to do is participate in nonsense, because nonsense will get me in trouble.
Correct.
Right? Now, Jay said some amazing things, and he always does. And I take a lot of notes off of the stuff he says. Some of the things that he said today was there's a lot of fakers, right? They act like it, but they're really not. They act like they fit in, but they really don't. And when you discover that they fit in, you know, you might need to make a decision. You know, if you got somebody who's, you know, you think might steal something when you go in the store, the last thing you want to do is be around them, right? Because they can get you in trouble. That's an extreme example, but it might be some people who can't handle their liquor and don't know when to stop drinking, or, you know, they want to drive home drunk every time you go out. And so, you know, you almost feel like you got to take care of them every time. Hey, but you're not fitting in. Right. You know what I'm saying? After the second or third drink, I got to go see where you are, who you are, call your wife, all kind of stuff, drop you off on the doorstep. You don't fit in anymore, right? So some people fake it, and we need to become aware of that. Another thing that happens, and this is a natural thing that happens in life, is we somehow get to a point where we have low tolerance for some things.
Oh, yeah.
We have very low tolerance. As soon as we see something happen, we say, hey, that person don't fit in, right? That comes with time. That comes with wisdom. That comes with age. That comes with the last time that happened to me, I'm not going to put myself in that position again.
Correct.
Right? And so it's okay to have low tolerance, but I want to say this, and I've said this in numerous shows before. This discussion is about protecting yourself.
Right.
This is about being assertive in relationships. It's not about throwing people away.
I agree.
Because most of the people in your world may not understand your job. You know what I'm saying? You may come home and kick it with them for the weekend and hang out, but when it come time to talk about these analysis and these reports and, you know, the boss man and who you got to talk to and how the system works, they're clueless. You know what I mean? And so they don't really fit in that world. You know what I mean? And you won't let them in that world.
Okay.
Go ahead, boy.
I got one question for you, Kraft, and about what you just said. Like, but who wants to live life always on the defense? So if we got to be around a person, and you said it's about protecting yourself. If we protecting ourselves, we always on defense.
Do we
do we not want a person around us that we can just be real with, be real with us? We can get along and not everybody being secretive about this and trying to be on the defense. And
so the question, Boo, said, excellent question, Boo. I appreciate that. He said, do we have to live our life always on the defense? Yeah. Do we have to be around people where we can't be ourselves, or we, you know, I'm having a conversation about business and I realize so and so is in the room. I can't talk about my money because they right there. You know what I'm saying? You know, or yes. You know, whatever the case may be. There's 100,000 examples. Should we live in that scenario?
It's tiring.
It is tiring, but here's the thing. I think what's happening in most relationships that seems to be working, and we're on the outside looking in, is that they compartmentalize their life. You know, there are some wives who just will not co-sign for their husband. Period. I've met many of them in my day from the car business. They just will not do that. And what they've learned is, I can't trust this man with money. So I keep my money, he keeps his money, but he takes great care of our children. He takes great care of our home. He makes sure I get all the celebrations on the holidays. But you never know. He might go out gambling one night, or he might do this, or he might come home with he gets a great idea in his head and it gets sold and he goes out and buys a new car and don't even talk to me about it. I know that. So there are times when you find a way to create a real wall of defense so you don't have to think about shit every day. You see what I mean? That you can still have a great person in your life, and yet still there might be a few things you may not be able to share with that person. There might be a few things you might not be able to include them in. And I think that is a part of individuality in a relationship. I think that's where you can have your gift, you can have your gift, and the left and the right hand might not always, but we love each other, we take care of each other. But I don't have to have a scenario where I gotta always be vulnerable to you. You know what I'm saying? If I let you know about one little thing in my life and then you ask me about it 10 times a day for the next week, no. I'm not gonna ever mention that I'm gonna do that again, right? I'm not gonna ever be sideswiped by your question the next morning. So how you gonna handle that? Nah. If I didn't tell you, then you didn't bother me about it. And that's how I handled it, right? So I'm still making a decision on how I'm going to deal with the conflict. I'm still making a decision on how I'm going to deal with this person who might upset me, but it don't mean I got to throw them away. It don't mean that they're not good people. It don't mean that they don't fit in other great places in my life. So I get exactly what you're saying. And I think that's going to be situational and circumstantial and down to the individual.
I definitely say situational.
Yeah, it's definitely a situational call.
I'm weeding them down, bro.
Yeah.
I'm boob. I'm with you, bro. And again, I'm not saying against crafters, right? Y'all throw them all the way. But I spend less time talking to them because it aggravates me.
Listen.
And I never like being aggravated. And that person knows it because they keep doing it.
They keep doing it.
Why did you do this? Why did you do that? Why are you questioning me? As a man, I made that decision because of all the facts and the details I had to put in it. Now I got to explain that to you that ain't going to make a hill of beans because I made a decision, and now you want to know exactly why I made that decision, how I made that decision. And I'm going to tell you right now, you ain't going to be around me long.
And listen,
you're going to get on my nerves.
If I'm a man of the house, which I've been all my life, the man of the house, and I make a decision, I'm doing it for the best of us good.
Thank you.
I don't want to hear no I told you so shit on the backside. You're going to be with me or against me at the front. But if you're against me on the back, I ain't going into no more ventures with you. Right? That don't make no sense. I already know how you going to act. I'm going to put in my best drive and my best work, and you going to put in what you offer to the table. And all the time, it don't be what I done put into the table. Mm-hmm. And so now, I'm out there on a limb. Are you going to leave me out there on a limb? Maybe because I made a mistake, or because I couldn't see, the forest for the trees, or whatever the case may be.
Right.
I'm
situation. Tell you, when I was out there on that limb by myself,
right,
and it didn't break. The minute I got back whole, she won't be with me. How about that?
There you go.
She might have well fell off.
There you go.
Because again, it's hurtful, but it's not about throwing away. It's trying to make the best out of all situations, but sometimes you're gonna have to make that decision. Everybody's not going to be a good fit. Recognize it. Explain it to them the best you can about how you feel about it. And a lot of times it's never going to be enough, and then you'll have to make a decision. I like to say sometimes talking it through helps, and sometimes you just have to be proactive to say, hey, I got to make a stance. This person will hurt me too many times. They don't stand for me. They don't support me. And the only reason I'm here is X, Y, and Z. Make it make sense or make change.
Sometimes we love people that we don't fit with. A perfect way to close our show. This has been Bar Talk with Jay. My name is Craftmatic. This is my boy Smooth Jay. And we want to thank you folks for being here with us tonight. We're here every Thursday from 7 to 8 Facebook Live. We got hundreds of shows to go back and take a look at. Real talk all the time. Real men just trying to love up on you with some wisdom. We want to thank you folks again for being here with us tonight. Never forget that we love you. We appreciate you. And with that, we are out.
Ain't no last calls here.
Bar Talk with Jay.